Okay, I wanted to sit down and talk about gear real quick because I just love gear. I love new gear. I love testing new things. I like new products coming out and stuff like that. So I'd figure I would talk about gear and drink some beer. Okay. And we'll see how this goes as I get progressively more and more drunk over this gear review. So I wanted to talk about one of the most important things that I have in anything, whether it be archery or hunting related or something like that, something that has made my life so much easier and allows me to do a whole bunch of things without like a backpack or anything on like that. And that's a Bino harness. So if you don't have a Bino harness or you don't have like a quality Bino harness, I would get one right now. You know, there are a lot of great options on the market for Bino harnesses with a lot of really, really cool accessories, stuff like that. So you really don't have an excuse now, but I would definitely get one of the more quality versions and spend the money on it because it is genuinely like I don't do anything without it. Whether it be archery or hunting related, I don't do like I don't go out and shoot archery without a Bino harness on. That is how dependent on a Bino harness I have become, just because how convenient it is to have all of your gear right there on your chest. So the way that I got started out in with Bino harnesses is I was a whitetail hunter from Midwest. You don't really need a Bino harness out there. I will say it's nice to have if you've got a nice compact one and stuff like that. But I never had the need for a Bino harness, but I wanted binoculars. So I got, some El Cheapo Vortex. I forget whether they're called Diamondbacks. I have them right here. Yeah, they're these, and they're super beat the fuck up, just because they were like 150 bucks. So I take them everywhere. I drop them. I get them wet. I do everything. This doesn't even have the cap, and it's damaged up here, but it still works perfectly. So I have no reason to get rid of these. And I have looked through some really, really nice Swaros. Both the ADXs, I believe, the ones with the dual eyepieces, and some of the NL Pures that they have. And I'll say I didn't spend a whole lot of time behind them, but in terms of when I'm looking through a pair of binos in regular light, I really couldn't tell the difference. Like it was not worth the what is it 2000 like 600 or $3,600 difference or something like that. But I have been told that in terms of low light situations, whether it be in the morning and the evening, it will that's where it puts its horsepower down in terms of what it can do. That being said, if I am that would only be useful to me in the morning because if I'm getting out there before light and then I'm glassing with some of those binoculars that are really, really good in low light, I don't think it's going to be very useful to me in the evening because there's no way I'm going to get a stock on a deer at that time. And then once you do, once the sun goes down, that deer could go anywhere. So I don't know. Maybe in the future I might invest in a pair of those, but for right now, these do just fine. I mean, I don't need those Swarovski NL Pures. I think the most expensive pair of binoculars I would ever buy would be the $1,500 range. So that's it for my opinions about binoculars. Again, I don't have a lot of experience behind those $3,700 binoculars from Swarovski or any of those other companies that sell those really high dollar ones, but with these binoculars came this Bino pouch, this Bino harness. So it's got, it's it came with it. It is what it is. It is rather large and rather thick. And also, one of the things that I figured out that I just absolutely fucking hated about this thing is that it comes up, it sits on your chest like this, and the lid comes up like this, okay? So that is problematic in a whole bunch of different ways because it's going to hit your chin, and then you're going to have to take the binos, and this thing is going to fall down, and then you have to reopen it, put it back in. It's just a pain in the ass. Also, these mesh things on the side do absolutely nothing. Half the time when I was putting in there things in there, this mesh would rip open, and it would, ruin it. It's just not. This is not useful to me. So I got a real education in bino harnesses with getting this thing for. It is free. It comes with these binoculars, but it gave me an idea of the kind of features that I was looking for when I wanted to come out west to hunt, and when I came out here to do some of the Midwestern hunting, or some of the Western hunting. Also, the straps were just, I don't know, not very good. They weren't very easy to adjust, and they're just, I don't know, they weren't what I was looking for in terms of a bino harness. But you know what? I was in the Midwest, so it was what it is what it is. So once I got here out west, I started looking for other bino harnesses, and there's all these different companies with bino harnesses. I went online and got one of these. This is the Gen 1 Catamount outdoor gear bino harness. It was really small. It was a really small form factor. They marketed it as silent, opening and closing of the bino harness. So they've got this material that's stretchy, so you can open it up that way with one finger. I really found it kind of difficult when the binos are in here and this is kind of like bulged out. I really found it difficult to put this back on, so I generally just tended to leave this wide open like this. And then also, if you notice, it's not hard to access, but there's this lid only opens right here at the top. So if you've got a really small pair of binoculars or something like that, they're going to go really deep down in there, and then you're going to have to rely on the straps that strap to it, which it did come with straps to connect your binos on here. So you sort of have to use your thumb and get it out that way. It was all right. I used it for an entire season. It came with these zippers in front, which I thought were going to be really useful, but it turned out once your bino gets in there and it sort of expands this out, it's really difficult to keep things in these zippered pouches up front, just because the binos take up a whole bunch of room that could go towards these pouches, or these zippered pockets. So generally all I kept in there was some pens that stuck out the top, and then I kept my license, my tag, and all of that in there. But that was generally all that was useful for that. I didn't really keep anything else in there. And then it came with a rangefinder pouch, which their Gen 1 was not very good, and I'll show you why in a minute. I actually put it on my new bino harness because it's perfect for something else. But it had a flappy top, and it just wasn't very good. And then it had a pouch that goes on under here. And how those pouches attach is it's got molly webbing in here, sort of, and it's sort of like I don't want to call it fake molly webbing, but it's not molly in the traditional sense, but you can use molly webbing on this. It's not an issue. I would recommend the more plastic molly that sort of knifes through this, and it is made out of that hard plastic. But it's got it on both sides. It's got it on the back, and it's got it on the bottom, which is where you attach the bottom pocket. And I really actually enjoyed the bottom pocket, but Then they came out with their Gen 2. So this is their Gen 2 right here, okay? And they made several upgrades to this. Very, very good upgrades to the Gen 2 that I really liked. And the whole reason why I went with this company instead of like some of those other companies is, one, I think they were actually a little bit cheaper. And then number two, it's kind of marketed at, and I don't know whether this is true, but they kind of marketed as for users that want to wear their Bino harness way up high on their chest. So I've seen a lot of people who wear their Bino harness like way down here, and I absolutely hate that because I don't like things hanging out around my belly. I just don't like it. I don't like things slapping up against my belly. I guess I have a sensitive stomach, but I just don't like that. That's not where I like to have my my stuff. So I like to have it really, really high on the chest, almost like up to my collarbone. So that's kind of why I went with this company. But they made several improvements. So this lid, they made a lot of improvement to this lid. So it opens up silently. There's no magnets in it or anything like that. You've got this tab that pulls out like this. And it's pretty quiet. Things that seem silent when you are like, I don't know, around other people are actually really, really freaking loud when you are out in the middle of the mountains and you're trying to stay quiet. So, you know, it's as quiet as it can be with material moving around. And it's got these like bungees on the side that can be adjusted, so you can adjust how tight you want this lid to be. I have never had to adjust these things. It's perfect for me, and it goes over the top. It's sealed on both sides with material, so it's waterproof. I've had this thing out in the rain multiple times, so there's been no problem in getting my optics wet or anything like that. Although that's why I do have $150 binoculars, because I can get those things wet and I don't care if they get wet, because I'll just go out and buy another $150 pair of binoculars. So this lid I really like, and then it stays down when you put it down, and you can, and if you want to, you can tighten this up more and it'll stay really close to the body of the Bino harness. So with this one, it still has the it just opens on the top, although it opens a little bit more than their Gen 1. But I actually, so when I originally put my optics down in there, they sat really kind of deep down in there. So you're using these to get this thing out, although it's not hard to reach one finger in and get it. But what I do is I use that to my advantage, and I keep a little flag in here at the bottom of my Bino harness. Number one, because it kind of protects the bottom objective from, you know, getting scratched on any materials. And number two, I use this flag. I've had to drop my pack in the field a couple of times, and I've learned my lesson about dropping a Kifaru hoodlum in brush. And it is the Ranger Green Kifaru hoodlum. So you're never gonna fucking find that thing if you drop it in the brush. I spent 2 hours one day trying to find it on a hill, and it was a nightmare to try to find it. It had all my camera equipment, everything in it, and I was like, oh my God. So what I do is I keep this little flag, and it's literally a like a bag that I got from some convention that I was at, which is perfect because it's blaze orange, and I literally just put that on the tree and tie it off to the tree and make sure that it's visible to everywhere, and that way I know where my pack is located. You could put it on OnX, but I've found that to be kind of unreliable when it comes to like the exact location. Like there's nothing that beats a physical, a visual aid in finding your pack. And it's actually helped me out more than a couple of times of finding my stuff when I'm drop my pack to go investigate an area, or run over to another mountainside or something like that, or if you're on a spot and stalk on a deer or something like that. So when you go over to run over to glass on another hill, it's just nice to just drop your pack, keep it right over there, take whatever you need, like your kill kit or something like that, and then you're not running around with a giant pack on your back. So that's actually helped me out a lot. I keep that in the bottom there, so it sort of raises up the optics a little bit, so that it's easier to get these things out of. That being said, it's not difficult to get your optics out of. So, but that's the lid of the Catamount outdoor gear Bino harness. In front here, you've got a one zippered pocket, which is a lot better than their Gen 1 in terms of like the space that you can and stuff you can put in it. I always put pens in here because I always need pens for what I'm doing, whether it be out in the field or when I teach archery or when I'm doing 3D archery and stuff like that. I always keep pens in here. So that's something that I never leave without. So these two moving down, they've got these two little, I don't know, pockets in here. I've found that they're useful for these small little knives, and I just have a Kershaw in here. It's very, very tiny, and it fits in that pocket perfectly. I love that little Kershaw knife. It's so skinny and so small. You can also fit a larger knife like the Benchmades and stuff like, or Spyderco's. But I've had a lot of experience with knives, and I've really I don't know what you call it. I've gotten really picky about my knife choice for everyday carry and for stuff like this. I don't carry around large knives anymore. I carry around like the smallest knife possible, because a really large knife just does nothing for me. It doesn't add anything, and it only retracts from your utility and stuff like that. So I only carry around these small knives, and I keep this Kershaw in this little pocket here all the time. I've also kept lighters in here, although sometimes they do fall out. I had a lighter in there. I had a pink lighter in there for, I think, around a year before it kind of fell out. That being said, I was doing a whole bunch of hiking, a whole bunch of stuff that requires bending over, going through brush and stuff like that. And that lighter never came out. So I don't know whether I took it out and dropped it or whether it fell out on its own, but these pockets right here, I would not trust to keep valuable things in here without a clip, if that makes any sense. So you've got knives with a clip, that'll stay in there, and that'll stay in there forever if you wanted to. You'd have to really do something stupid in order for this knife to come out. So let's take a sip of beer. That's fucking delicious. So that's basically the main bag of the Bino harness. Inside, it's got lots of padding in here to make sure your optics stay safe. I could drop this thing from my roof, and I bet you it wouldn't. It'd be totally fine. I mean, I take this thing off and throw it on the back of my truck. I really don't have any worry about my optics falling out of here. And this lid makes sure that they really don't. So one of the problems with this guy right here, the Vortex one, was that if you bent over at all, that optic would fall out. And all of the damage to these optics, and it's purely cosmetic, all the damage from these optics came from falling out of that Bino harness. So obviously you've got the added layer of protection from these straps. They connect to these that connect to the side of your binos, so you can I don't like to do this, but you can have them hanging out in front of your Bino harness to make them easier to access or something like that, or if you need to drop them real quick to go shoot a deer. But normally I just keep either one of these things on or I keep these things off because I can bend over and do anything I want to do, and these won't fall out of this Bino harness. So the inside has really conformed to, it's done a good job of conforming to my particular binos. And these are 10s. So if I had 12s, it'd probably be a little bit more snug in here. But since it kind of conforms, I don't think I'd have any problem carrying 12s in here and then having them basically break into your Bino harness. So, or to your binos. So it's really well made. I really like, I like this lid a lot. And it's obviously got some wear and tear on it, but I've never had any of the stitching come loose. I've never had anything rip off of here. It's really high quality made, and it looks like it comes from the same like factory as Kifaru does. It's the exact same color, the exact same material, and I've had zero issues with the build quality on the Gen 2. So this is actually the rangefinder pouch from the original, the Gen 1, and it had this little flappy lid on here that I really didn't like. But it is actually perfect for carrying a particular beverage in here. You can also carry water bottles in here and stuff like that if you're doing 3D archery and stuff like that. But it's perfect for this use in particular. So that's why I put it on the left side. I'd probably change this out if I was gonna go hunting. Although I went hunting last year and I kept a radio in here, and it worked out perfectly. So one of those Garmin radios. So that's a good. But you can get any pouches you want here, and it's got the same MOLLE webbing on the sides of this Bino harness that the Gen 1 did. So you can put various attachments on here and you're not going to have an issue. Moving along to the other side is the Gen 2 rangefinder pouch. So this is a pretty good upgrade from the original one that I have on the other side. It's got a lid that has a tiny magnet on it that doesn't make hardly any noise at all. You don't get that pop when that magnet goes back in. And it stays down because it's got a magnet down here as well. And it stays down if you want it to stay down, and it stays closed if you want it to stay closed. So this fits a whole bunch of rangefinders, and it's kind of like the main pouch where this will conform, the inside will conform to your rangefinder. And I have the cheapest rangefinder money can buy, and it's actually huge. So it fits, almost every type of rangefinder. I've tested it with my buddies, and I've had no issues with the size of the rangefinder. The only thing that I think that I would improve about this rangefinder is have it have total coverage over the top, and then maybe have a cutout right here so that it's easier to get your rangefinder out of here, kind of like on a pistol magazine where you've got you can use your two fingers to strip that magazine out. Kind of have those two fingers to strip that rangefinder out. But that being said, I don't really have an issue with grabbing my rangefinder out of here. This rangefinder is long enough that I can really get my fingers on here and get the rangefinder out if I need to. So you can close that up, keep it closed. I've never had any issues with this rangefinder. It's been really nice. How it attaches is it's got two attachment points. It's got one on the side, which has come undone a bunch of times, so I don't even attach it anymore. But It also has attachments on the back to attach to your actual the straps to your Bino harness. So I don't really have an issue with this coming loose. And what I do is, it would be cool if this on the back here on the strap extended out and then it buckled right here, because then you could, what I just do is I keep this one buckled and then I put this thing on one arm and then just strap it up. So one of these this one stays perpetually strapped. And that's how I deal with that issue, and I don't really need to undo this buckle. So it's got MOLLE attachments on the side, and then this is the original Gen 1 stash pocket, or the pouch. Okay. I'll start with the bad on this thing. It's got these little mesh pockets here on the side. I have never found a use for those for anything. I tried keeping a bottle of Aerolube in here and it fell out almost immediately. So I don't think that these don't provide any value for me personally, because they're not deep enough to like carry a knife in there. And they're just, I don't know. I didn't find any use for these on the side here. That being said, I have so many uses for this bottom pouch. So I keep, right now it's set up for my archery classes. So I've got Allen wrenches, I've got more Allen wrenches, I've got an extra release in here, I've got a GoPro mount, I have I have the Vicks Vapor Rub, which I freaking need right now for my nose, because I'm kind of stuffed up. And then I keep a couple of other things in there for when I'm teaching archery. And then when I am hunting or I'm filming somebody on their hunt, I keep a whole bunch of extra batteries in here so that they're on my person whenever I need them. And it keeps a whole bunch of stuff in here. And it actually doesn't, like, it's pretty quiet. It doesn't, I don't get a whole lot of things rattling around in there. If I was gonna do one thing or two things to this bottom pouch, I would make the entire pouch a little bit more rigid. So I would have the bottom a little bit more rigid. Like, I don't know whether you'd stick a piece of soft plastic in there to make it like more rigid, and then have the back of it have a little bit more structure to it, so that it's not as I don't know, it's just have everything more rigid about it. And that's the only thing that I would change about that. But other than the side stuff and the fact that it's a little bit more floppy than I would like, I use this thing every single time I have this pouch on here. And you can actually leave this thing open and it won't, nothing will fall out or anything like that, even if you bend over. I've gone for like 4 hours one time, not realizing that this thing was open, and nothing came out of it. So I really like this this pouch. So it comes with their like proprietary cheap like attachment, but you can literally just put a MOLLE attachment down there and fix all of any issues. Although I've never had this attachment come off. Like, it's just a piece of Cordura that attaches this thing. You could put a piece of MOLLE on there and you'd have no issues with that. So I really like the bottom pouch on this thing. And more of these Bino harness companies are putting, bottom pouches on it and stuff like that. I knew that camera was going to do something stupid during this. So, again, I really like this bottom pouch. It could be a little bit more rigid, and have a little bit more structure to it. And I don't like these things are just unnecessary. So just take those off, and then everything would be good to go. Let's see. Let's talk about the back here. I got their cell phone pouch for the Bino harness. So your cell phone pouch goes in there like that, in between your chest and the Bino harness. It's a really, really good way to keep your phone out of your pocket and stuff like that. If you're going to sit on rocks like I do in the middle of the desert, it's a good way to protect your phone from all of that stuff, and keep it in a place where it's going to be right there for you, and you won't have to like forget it anywhere or anything like that. The one thing that I will say about this thing, so it's got this mesh right here that they have said will dissipate a lot of the heat, because this is a hot spot on your Bino harness. It's going to be really hot up against your body, basically. That doesn't matter when you are hunting in 85 to 90 degrees, or when you are like I am shooting archery, 3D archery in 107 degree weather. It just doesn't matter. There is no way that you cannot make a product that will keep moisture away from your phone when it is located right here on a pack in that type of weather. That being said, during the winter time, it's no problem. You won't have any problem with moisture buildup or anything like that. But what I'm doing in the place that I'm located, where it was 115 degrees today, it does not matter. Also, if you're in 115 degrees, and this is not specific to this particular cell phone pouch, this is going to happen to me wherever, with whatever product I'm using. You have to basically pick your poison. So if you have your screen forward, all the moisture is going to collect on your screen because it's going to be right up against your chest. If you have it right here, it's going to collect on the back. Okay. Same thing. If you have the biggest vulnerability of a phone is your charging port right here. So if water gets in that, you're basically screwed for a long time, and it's going to mess with your phone and do all of that. If you're in really hot weather, you're kind of screwed if you do, screwed if you don't, because if you keep it down here, the moisture is going to collect in the charging port, and it's going to sit there. And then if you have your charging port facing up, the sweat from, at least my sweat from my beard and stuff like that, drips directly into that charging port. So I like the cell phone pocket. I really do. That's the only issue with, and that's going to be an issue with every single cell phone pocket out there on the market. It doesn't matter. Unless you've got a waterproof case on it, you're just screwed either way if you're hunting in hot temperatures. So just be kind of aware of that. Otherwise, it's really nice. I don't seem to have an issue with it sliding right in there. Especially the more I use it, it kind of conforms to your cell phone and stuff like that. Yeah, it attaches by molly on the back, and I've never had an issue with it coming loose. So I keep that on there because even if I'm not using it, it doesn't take up any space. It's not gonna make a difference. So that's why I have that on there if I want to keep the cell phone in right here. It's really more useful in the winter months because then I don't have to fiddle around in my pocket for my phone and stuff like that. And it just sits right there. And then in the wintertime, I don't have an issue with sweat or moisture for the most part if it's really cold. God, that tastes good. Okay. I think that's all for the main portions of the pack. Let's talk about the straps real quick. So the Gen 1 came with a set of straps, and since I don't use the Gen 1 anymore, I put those straps on another chest rig that I have. This is my do-all chest rig. It's an El Cheapo from Amazon. I use it as a fly fishing rig, and then I use it as a workout chest rig. So I put my phone, my earbuds, and then you can put a firearm in here if you're hiking and stuff like that. So I just like having one of these because you don't have to carry a backpack or anything like that. And it's got attachment points for your chest rig stuff. So this was the original straps. These were the original straps that came with the Gen 1. And you had your male clips up on the top, and then you had your female clips on the bottom. I really liked that. So they had an idea to do strap management. There's so much sweat on these, it's disgusting. So you've got your strap that comes through here like that, and then you just put it up into these channels right here, and then your straps are not hanging down or anything like that. And then you had your Bino clip attachment points on the inside of both, so it's symmetrical. I really like these straps because if you needed to, you could undo this. You could undo these really freaking quickly. You could undo the bottom ones and then undo the top ones, and then if there was a situation where you just needed this thing off, you could unclip the bottom, unclip the top, be done with it, and then it's super easy to put it back. It's super easy to put it back together. Just like this one, you do two clips on top, like that, and then 2 clips on bottom, and you're good to go. You've got this strapped to your chest. It's that easy. I really liked this style of strap, and then also what you had was it was really easy to adjust these ones down here. This one was really easy to adjust for the most part. It did come unadjusted a little bit easier, but it wasn't like you had to adjust it every single time you wore it. It was more like you went for a month and then you realized that these were a little bit looser. But I really liked these straps, and it was not. It was really nice, and it was really secure. And I just liked everything about these straps. So I put the old straps on this El Cheapo rig and called it a day. The new straps that they came with on the Gen 2. I don't like these straps as much as I did the old one. There's elements that are exactly the same. Like this is almost exactly the same. This that fits around your back is almost exactly the same as the other ones. It's a bit longer, so it covers more of your back. And then these channels right here that you can put the straps, you can cinch the straps up on, are longer. But they come in closer, so there's only a finite amount of adjustment you can like cinch these straps up into before they get too close, and then you're not able to cinch them up anymore. The other thing that I don't really like about these straps is you've got 2 attachment points here, and I'm not really sure which one you're supposed to use. So they have these like hooks, that hook onto your Cordura loops like this. And they're okay. They're okay. I think they're supposed to be easier to take on and off, although I don't see how these would be easier than just the clips, um, the uh, the buckles. I don't understand how they would be easier than the buckles. And also, if you're going to be if you're if your rationalization is they're going to be quieter, you still have to undo the buckles on the bottom to get these things off. So I don't really know why they chose to go with these. That being said, you can just get buckles and fix that problem yourself, and then the buckles will attach onto these, and then you can attach the buckles onto either the top one or the bottom one. I don't know why they included two different mounting points. Could be that one is to mount it lower than the other one. I don't really know, but I don't. It comes standard with these. I would just get a bunch of buckles from Amazon, or you can buy them off their website and just not even worry about it anymore. So the other thing is it's much harder to adjust these than it is the other one, because they've got this right here. These are kind of difficult to adjust, although, I mean, once you get it adjusted, it's kind of one and done, unless you're going out there with a huge puffy jacket, and then you're going to have to adjust them. The other thing about these is the way it came. It's got this nice attachment for the actual binocular clips on here, but the thing that bothers me is that they came both on the same side, so they're kind of. I don't think it makes any difference, but it's just a thing that I have with symmetry, where if one's on the outside, I want the other one to be on the outside as well. But that being said, you can actually take the time to take this off, rotate it around, and then you'll have both on the inside. So it's not really an issue. I'm just too fucking lazy to put this thing to where this is going on the other side. It's not really a huge issue for what you're going to be doing. The straps are down here attached by buckle, but I thought that the other straps adjusted a little bit easier than these. That being said, these ones come with the buckle that have the like auto cinch or whatever, where once you cinch it down, you press this button, and then you're able to tighten it or loosen it as you see fit. So they stay where they are, which is really, really nice. I'm gonna put these buckles up here pretty soon, to just because I don't like these, and these have actually come off before while I've been wearing them. But I tighten this thing so far high onto my chest that they really don't have a chance to come off. But when you're taking them on and putting them off, these things will come out of there. It's not really that big of a deal. You just put them right back in there. But I just like the buckles better. That being said, super easy to change. That's just, you're gonna have to put in the 10 minutes it takes to, take all this off and then put the buckles on. So it's not really that big of a deal. Yeah, so that's all that I have about the straps. They're really nice. I think they are a little bit thicker than other companies, so it's going to be hot. That being said, where I shoot, it's hot anyways, so there's no escape from the heat. There's no escape from sweating. So it's not really. It doesn't really make a huge difference to me. One thing to note: these do come separately from the Bino harness, so you'll have to buy them separately. And then the buckles will come separately as well if you want buckles. It'll come with these standard, but the buckles you will need to buy separately. But they've got so many on Amazon and stuff like that that it's not really that big of a deal. I think that's all I have for this thing. I really like it. That being said, do whatever you want to do in terms of bino harnesses. Like the bino harness industry has really taken off in the last couple of years, and they've got a ton of companies out there making really good bino harnesses with a lot of accessories that you can mount on there and take off and customize depending on what you like or what hunt you're going to do. So I really like this thing. It comes in this Ranger Green and it comes in Coyote. And you can get these in Coyote or Ranger Green as well. It's really well made. It's at a decent price point, but go get a bino harness if you're going to hunt out west or do some of those 3D archery shoots. That's the bottom line. I'd recommend this to anyone. I'd also recommend a lot of other companies as well in terms of bino harnesses and gear and stuff like that. So this is really nice. I take this thing everywhere, and I wouldn't hesitate to go pick one of these things up. They're not in stores; it's just off their website, so you'd have to order it. But they run sales and stuff like that all the time, so you can get one for a pretty decent price. So that's it on the Catamount Outdoor Bino Harness. Yeah, that's kind of it for gear and beer for this time. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any comments, mean, nice, whatever you want to put, go ahead and comment below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.